because he focused on just one type of niche within the hotel industry and was able to sell that for a substantial amount of money. Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. With me, we always have on these Wednesdays, Matt Jones. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. How about you, Todd?
Well, I'm doing fantastic, man. Had a great holiday, extended weekend. So that was awesome. Of course, this is coming out a week or so later. So hopefully everybody else listening here had a great Independence Day. It's good to remember obviously we got problems, right? The U.S. isn't free of problems. There's always been problems in every country, including our own. But we've got a lot to be grateful for. And so it's good to celebrate. It's good to remember, those of the past that have helped set this country up for the greatness that it has, and be thankful for the abundance that we are able to have in our life. And of course, then for me, I always think of what can we do better, right? How can we continue to improve? It's always a work in progress. So how can we continue to improve not only ourselves and our families and our financial well-being, but as a country as a whole. So fun times hanging out, but also good to reflect.
Yeah, it's good to see the potential of things and take actions each day to make that into a reality.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Look, this country has afforded me and many people, yourself and many people included, with a lot of opportunity, right? And opportunity that's just not available everywhere. So we're fortunate. We're very fortunate to be able to come from really nothing. And I've talked to plenty of people on this podcast that have come from worse positions than me. I didn't come from a bad position by any means. I didn't have money to start with, but I came from a good family and a loving family and a pretty good position, all things considered. But I've talked to plenty of people who have came from basically abusive families and all kinds of stuff, and they've made amazing progress and been a huge success story. So it's awesome to be able to be a part of that and be able to have that as an opportunity. Well, Matt, we're not talking about that today. So we're still on our series where we've been hitting on asset classes, and we've covered quite a few. So if you haven't listened to the last few episodes, go back, take a listen. We've covered a lot of different asset classes in real estate specifically. What are we going to hit on today?
Well, today we're going to talk about hotels and resorts.
Hotels, resorts, really vacation type rental properties. So that includes, we're not going to probably dive in a ton into short-term rentals because that'll probably be a whole different episode. But that includes any kind of vacation type rental community, I guess. So hotels, small resorts, big resorts, vacation properties like that. So
yeah, and there's a lot to know with it.
Yeah, there's a lot to know, and it's a wide industry, and it's an industry where, look, you can invest in various types of hotels. So let's talk hotels specifically. So you've got your luxury hotels, you've got your more of your business type hotels. You've got your luxury kind of city hotels. You've got your luxury, more of the spa and lounge and stuff like that on a vacation front. Think beach, think mountains, stuff like that, more posh travel type hotel. And you've got your business hotels. You've got your cheap hotels, right? You've got more of your motel. Think of like a Motel 6 or a Red Roof Inn or something like that. And then you've got your more of a short-term stay extended stay type hotels. A lot of, construction workers and temporary staff will stay in those types of hotels for, maybe a little bit of a longer term, more like a week or two or three even, or a full week, and then go home on the weekends. But so there's various types of hotels. And then of course you've got your resorts, man, and those are, I guess, more of that vacation style. But they often have, maybe golf courses or a ski amenity, or water park amenity, all kinds of stuff included.
Yep, indeed. I mean, so depending on what kind of property that you're looking on, you really want to do the market research. So conducting, that thorough market research to understand the demand and the potential profitability of that particular kind of hotel or resort in that specific location you're considering. So you got to consider a lot of factors like tourism trends, the local economy, competition, as well as the seasonality of that area too.
Yeah. 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 And you got to think about your strategy, right? I think it's good to be focused. We always talk about focusing on a specific niche. Mm-hmm. And like we do in multifamily, we're not buying a, brand new build, apartment building that's 200 units. And then also looking at the same time for a C-class 10 unit building, in a totally different market, or even in the same market, but those are totally different things. So you probably want to narrow it down to what's going to be your niche. And then slowly expanding if you're going to get into different niches within the industry, but you want to focus on one and become really, really, really good at it. And so I met the owner of Super 8, a previous owner of Super 8, motels, and that he became really good at that industry and built up a very good portfolio and was able to sell that for a substantial amount of money because he focused on just one type of niche within the hotel industry. And most people know what a Super 8 is, because he created a brand awareness and recognition and really focused on the niche.
Yep. The riches are in the niches.
Ooh.
I would say
Did
niche.
you just make that up?
No, I didn't. I wish I did, but it's good. Yeah, saying with the proper pronunciation, niche, it doesn't rhyme, but oh well.
That's all right. Yeah, man. So a lot of things to think about. I like personally, and so I don't own any hotels. I don't have any LP investments in hotels, in resorts or anything like that. But I really like the business travel type hotels, in my opinion. And I know the return potential is probably not as high, but it's also the downside is a little bit less, because the business type hotels are going to attract not only business travelers, but they're also going to attract your traveler that's just kind of in the area as well. Not on a more luxurious vacation, but just traveling to, see friends, family, maybe explore the city a little bit, that type of thing. So I like that because it's steady, it's consistent. Nothing stops it except COVID-19. But it just continues to move along slow and steady.
Well, a recession will throw a damper on things as well, but
a little bit, sure, certainly. But not as much as like a resort type, or more vacation type hotel would do, right?
Yeah, I agree. And just the same with any kind of real estate, location is really key. So based on the kind of niche of property you're looking at, choose a location that's going to attract tourists or business people, and has a strong, or in an area that has strong demand for those accommodations. So places that are close to attractions or business centers or transportation hubs like airports, or other amenities you mentioned, like ski resorts or maybe beaches, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and if you're gonna get into the vacation style, the resort style, I think it's really important to have something that's going to catch people's attention, right? Or many things that's going to catch people's attention. So even if whether they use it or not, it's just like a multifamily. When we put in some of these amenities, we know a lot of the residents aren't going to ever use it, but it's just there, and it's something that catches their eye, and they want, we gotta have that. We want to be there because it catches my attention, especially if it's in an area that maybe doesn't have its own natural attention catching. Look, if you're going to be in an area that already has, you're going there for that specific person's purpose. So if you're in Nashville and your hotel's right on Broadway or real close to Broadway, that's where all the action happens. You probably don't need a ton of extra amenities there. You have to think about who your demographic is, what they would like. And so you probably want a bar, you probably want a few things like that, but you probably don't need all of the extra amenities. But if you're going to be far away from that stuff, right, and there's not a ton of stuff real close by, maybe you need the water park, maybe you need the golf simulator, maybe you need some of that extra stuff that you can add on, or you create it. I'm thinking of a resort by us. It's called, well, it's all around, but it's Jellystone, and this is for families, and it's they got these little cabins all over the place, and in this community, and they've got the water slide, they've got the pond where the kids can swim, they do tractor rides, they do all kinds of stuff that attracts families to this resort. It's a very family orientated, fun resort for kids that are probably really 10 years and younger, 12 years and younger. And that's what they really go after. Where other resorts might go after weddings and events, corporate events, things like that. So you got to, again, even within that niche, you got to think of who your real people are.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you need to and see what the amenities a property has right now and what you can potentially add to make it more appealing, to make it an experience for people? Like maybe adding a spa or something like that can really appeal to what your demographic of people are going to be.
Yep. I think of when we were in Mexico, it's a resort I would never personally go to if I had the choice, but my sister-in-law was getting married, and so her wedding was at this resort, and I just think of the amenities that they had. Now I would choose a resort that has no amenities, and just because it was right on the ocean, I feel like you don't need amenities, but of course they had them all. And man, it did attract a lot of people. They had all the pools you could imagine. They had a lot of, they had dolphins there that you could actually swim with the dolphins. They had concerts going on. They had live entertainment, comedians, all kinds of people. They had, of course, they had the restaurants there. Just everything you could imagine. They also had excursions that you could go on. A lot of the stuff wasn't complimentary, right? You had to pay an extra fee for it. And so that's another point of a profit for the resort. So that's the other thing, is a lot of these extra amenities can be something people pay extra for.
Exactly. To see how, ways that you can increase the cash flow and thus your return on your investment.
Yep. Yeah, you have your specific amenities, but then you have added ones, and some of the business hotels, they have added amenities where you can have private drivers and things like that, and they'll set that up for you, and they're going to be making some of their money off of that as well, or tours of the city, things like that.
One amenity you can think of that saves you money at the same time as attracting people to you is being more environmentally friendly. I go to hotels sometimes and they say like, hey, if you want your towel washed, leave it on the ground, but if you want to be green and help the environment, and hang it up. And so that makes a choice for the customer to be thinking like, hey, improving the environment by not, having my towel washed every day, for example, but you're saving the hotel money at the same time of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. What a great little gig that these hotels have done by, certainly maybe it's in the name of green, but it's more, in my opinion, the name of they're saving money. So they can
They're
make
saving the green.
But they are being environmentally friendly, quite frankly, but they're using it as, hey, let's save the environment. We don't have to do your wash your sheets and change your bed, change your all your bedding and clean your room if you don't want us to. And most people are like, yeah, don't do that. We'll stay there for a couple of days. We don't need that done. It's not like at home you change your bedding every day. At least most people don't. I know I don't change my sheets every single day. So what do you need to change my sheets for if I'm there for 2 or 3 days? You just don't need to. So that's talk about a great cost savings that these hotels have now came up with over the last, I don't know. That's only been something that's been going on for like 10 years, man. It's like it hasn't been this big thing forever. Hotels can be good. They can. I know a lot of people that have made really good money in hotels, but they do have the risks, and the big risk is the economic factor. And when we have a recession, hotels definitely struggle, or when an area becomes maybe less desirable for travel purposes. Look, that just happens sometimes. So those areas tend to struggle a little bit more. The other thing too is as your hotel ages, it quickly loses value. And I think more than probably anything, right? So you get a hotel and it's brand new or it's been brand new remodeled, you're going to get top of the market, and especially if it's in a great area, great location, shops and restaurants around it. But let's just say, 20 years from now, you're still, or even 10 years from now, you're still holding on to that hotel. Now it's a little outdated. It's a little old. It's starting to show its wear and tear because, quite frankly, people are abusive to these places. They're in and out quickly. They're not caring that much about it. And they don't take ownership. And so they're in and out quickly. Maybe a couple of restaurants go out of business, have some turnover, whatever might happen. And very quickly that hotel can go from an A+ hotel to B+ hotel. And it's just not nearly as desirable. Or even if the area stays great, maybe a couple brand new, really nice hotels come into the area and your demand goes down, right? So you got these brand new luxury hotels coming in. That's what the market wants. But you didn't build yours as a luxury hotel because that's not what the market wanted at that time. So those things can really impact your bottom line with hotels as well as just the economic, the recession maybe that comes through and really wipes out a lot of profit.
Mm-hmm. And depending where you are, the insurance costs might be sky high as well. Like in Florida and California, it's going up and up.
Yeah. Yeah, that can definitely hurt your bottom line. Expenses, of course, just in general, right, Matt? I mean, we know not only insurance and property tax expenses, but we've got labor expenses, and hotels are a service-based industry. It's not just real estate, it's very much service. And so, man, I mean, yeah, if you can't find employees or you got to pay them, we've got a 100-unit building, we need one maintenance person. Well, we've raised our maintenance people from paying them $20 to $25 an hour to now we're paying them $25 to $30 an hour, maybe even a little bit higher depending on what that property is like and what their experience is. Well, now if we have a hotel, we got to have a couple of those maintenance people. Plus, we've got to have people that are working there 24/7 at the front desk. We've got cleaners, so our payroll has gone up significantly over the last, just a couple of years. That puts a big pinch on our NOI in total.
And certainly more operations heavy than multifamily, for example. So you really need that proper management in place to take care of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had a guy on recently, Jonathan Twombly. He talked about he's in niches of when we talk about niches, he's buying these small motel type properties in more rural type communities, have good views, nice town, nice area. There's also a niche just in that. I was a random thought as I'm thinking through some of this stuff, but um, there's a lot of opportunity to dive in and get into this industry if you want to, and you can start small like Jonathan, where he's not buying massive complexes, but he's buying complexes owned by mom and pa's, which have a lot of opportunity, coming there, doing some nice changes, and he's relying on, hey, this is an area that people want to be, and if I make this a nice place, they're going to want to stay here.
Yeah, that was a great episode. I recommend people listen to that one if they're thinking seriously about investing in hotels.
Yep. Yeah. Man, what else?
You got to think about regulatory and legal considerations. So familiarizing yourself with those local regulations, the permits, the licensings, the zoning for hotels and resorts, and
Yep.
also consider any like legal liability issues associated with that. So you've got to know about employment laws, health and safety regulations, and compliance with accessibility standards as well.
One of the other benefits about hotels is if you want to convert a hotel, it's fairly easy to convert a hotel into either senior housing, or you can convert them into micro units for multi-housing, as for multifamily as well. So that's definitely another benefit. Now we're totally talking a different strategy, right, than what we've been talking about. We've been talking about obviously operating them, but also there's a conversion possibility as well for these. So especially if they're in more of a residential type neighborhood, where you can convert them. Obviously, a lot of them are in a commercial type neighborhood, so conversion might not make sense in that instance. But if it's in more of a residential, it might be a good opportunity if it's a distressed type building. I would say a big downfall, in my opinion, is a lot of these hotels, when we're looking at 3-4 story hotel, most of them have an elevator, and elevators are big expenses, something you got to really consider when you're buying it and understanding the real cost of having a building with an elevator.
Yeah, exactly. Expensive to buy, expensive to maintain, expensive if something goes wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And most people discount, I think, the cost of an elevator. I know I've got a couple buildings with elevators, and those costs can really come up quickly. And it's amazing. It's amazing how much elevators cost to maintain.
Yep. And another thing is technology. It's really vastly improving over the past few years. So you can have people check in online or through an app, and then they don't even need to get a key from a front desk. They can just use their phone as the key, that sort of thing. And that saves on the cost of people that you have to hire too.
Yeah, and I think if you can be innovative, you can probably make a lot more profit that and avoid some of these costs. We just talked about the labor costs. You're never going to get rid of the maintenance costs, right? Or at least no time soon. I don't see technology replacing maintenance labor anytime soon. But the front desk labor, certainly that could be minimized. You're still going to have front-facing people. But especially if we're talking a low budget hotel, if we're talking even a business type hotel, I don't think you need that front facing person nearly as much. And so I think you can get away with less staff in some of these hotels if you do it right, if you get the technology right. Now, the luxury hotel, I think maybe you could eliminate a little bit of staff, but you got to be careful, because that is very much a service-based, friendly smile. We want to help you any way possible. Come to us. You don't have to wait in a long line, all that type of stuff. We're going to answer every question you have right away. So luxury, you want to be careful. Obviously, technology is a huge benefit, but if you rely on it too much, I think it could come back to bite you on the luxury stance.
Do you know what the financing is like for hotels and resorts?
I'm not a huge hotel and resort guy, so I don't exactly know, but I do know your local banks are going to be willing to finance them. CMBS plays in the industry. I don't think Fannie Freddie play in the industry. I could be wrong on that, but I do know some of the like life companies and CMBS are involved in hotels.
Cool. Yeah, I see hotels as, while you can flip them and wholesale them and stuff, I see them as more like a long-term play because they can be really cash flow heavy. Granted, like
Yep.
when the market is going up, then you can set that daily rate to increase from day to day. When the market's going down, of course, then you have to decrease it from day to day. But like you flipped a ski resort once, so it certainly can
Yeah,
be done.
it was a lot different though, Matt. It didn't have, it was a ski property, I would call it. So it didn't have any amenity or sorry, any housing, right? It did not have any stay component with it. So that was more of a property with a ski whatever facility at it. Versus that. So, but yeah, you easily could flip them. There was a property I used to stay at a lot in Lexington, Kentucky. It was a cool old building. The rents were always right. It wasn't great, but it was clean. And a company came in and renovated this property. It's a beautiful property now. And I believe they renovated and sold it since. I might be wrong on the sale, but I thought I saw that they sold it. And it would make sense. I mean, they were able to come in and renovate, and I'm sure raise rates quite a bit. I know the last time I was looking at staying there, the rates were considerably higher than what I used to pay. And same thing, there was a Ramada Inn in Lexington as well. I used to stay there, and while they're under construction, I was getting renovated unit. I was staying there for like $60 a night because they were under construction. It was a brand new renovated unit, and stay there for $60. Well, now guess what? They're not $60 anymore because they're done. They're done with the renovation. I don't know if they've sold, but you definitely have an opportunity to do value add hotel investing, just like you can do with any other commercial real estate. So there's a huge benefit there.
Excellent. And with hotels and resorts, just like any other kind of real estate, if you don't know what you're doing with it, partner with somebody who is already deeply experienced and successful with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Matt said, the riches are in the niches. Is that what you said?
Riches are in the niches. Very good.
Cool, man. Well, that's all I got. You have anything else?
That's it for today.
All right. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Like every day Saturday.
Hey, you too.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. But your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.